welcome to another War Highlights video. Um, I don't commentate that frequently, and I haven't done one of these in a long time, so you'll have to bear with me. But as the title suggests, I'm going to be going through two fights from my most recent wars with pretty big, relatively high-powered Infinity Watch and Heroes for Hire battles. So this is one from my previous war last Saturday on September 11th. And as you can see, I'm about to take down this boosted Heroes for Hire 700, almost 712,000. Colleen Wing is pretty small here, so it's not that threatening, but it's still not an easy team to take down. The only option that we have, of course, is Infinity Watch. So I bought energy, and this right here is my Infinity Watch. They're seven at the time. They were 753 power. They're all level 81. They're in this video. They're all level 81. Phyla-Vel and Moondragon are 4 yellow, 4 red. Gamora is 7-6. Nebula is 7-5, and Atom is 5-5. They're all level 81, gear 15. All blue ISO'd. I think Nebula might have already been ISO 3. The rest are all ISO 2, or in the case of Moondragon, ISO 1. Moving on. So that gives you an idea basically of how powerful my Infinity Watch are, and let's just fast forward to the fight. The way I play this is you'll notice I start here. One thing I think that I do differently from probably a lot of others you may see is that I actually use Nebula's basic attack first. The reason for that is because if you use her special or her ult, she puts up evades and counter right before Shang-Chi takes his turn. And Shang-Chi gets extra damage from positive effects, so I actually use Nebula basic turn 1 so to not let Shang get any extra damage off of that. So see, if he did any more damage, that could have been really dangerous. Nebula gets heal block, right? So we want Nebula and Phyla to try and not die, so the less damage they take, the better. Obviously, so this is a part where I think I might continue to revisit my strategy at this point because there's a lot of them have deflects from Luke Cage or, the boost on their room. So this is where I might actually have to reevaluate who I choose to hit with my alts or specials or any attacks here. I obviously use Gamora's special here to copy the death proof over, and we can immediately start draining back our health. Vel, of course, is the one who needs that most right now. So I try to ability block Iron Fist so he doesn't have the cleanse and heal turn 2. Didn't really work here, and the disrupt didn't land on Luke Cage either. So we're just gonna have to kill Luke Cage really fast to try and get around the taunt. I rewind Shang-Chi because if you let Shang-Chi take turns, he gives them so much speed, speed ups, and speed bar to himself. So that's the reason I choose to rewind him. And then after that, I just focus on Luke Cage. Gamora ult is unblockable, which is why I chose that over her basic here. Also need the offense up so that actually my Gamora has higher base damage than my Phyla-Vel just because of the fact that she's 7 yellow, 6 red, and she's 4/4. But I know for some people with Phyla-Vel really big, they need to make sure Gamora gets this ult before Misty puts the ability block, the stun, otherwise Phyla-Vel is the one who's going to get stunned. And Phyla getting stunned is really bad. After this, Luke Cage is still taunting, but his charges are gone, so it's easier for Adam to stun him. And after that, we just get through and now I finally get the, so you'll notice here, I finally get Nebula to use her ult on turn 3, and I finally get my evades. One thing I feel is important to point out is that I might actually change the positioning of Nebula and Gamora moving forward, so that when Misty stuns Gamora, she doesn't chain the ability block onto Nebula, and that way I might be able to use the evades turn 2. I have yet to find out if that's necessary or good or bad. But once Luke Cage is gone, Shang-Chi can get focused down, and that's basically all that really matters in this fight. Basics, as we know, Infinity Watch have a ridiculous amount of damage with Gamora, so that's where we are here. Just working it down. One of the biggest enemies for Heroes for Hire, I think, as many people are aware, is in fact the clock. So uh, by the time I kill Shang-Chi, I think it's going to be probably only 2 minutes left, and with like, yeah, here, Moondragon Special, I'm not sure if that was a mistake in this situation, just because of the fact that all the counters weaken Moondragon a bit. Um, although, uh, yeah, it does heal, so that part is useful. It's unfortunate that you have this issue where sometimes the Heroes for Hire will take an extra turn before they actually use one of their charges. Like they'll be under 50% and they'll have to wait until the next turn ends to use their charges, which you might have witnessed right there, where Colleen was under 50%, but I think it was because it was from a bleed. It was after her own ult, and then she got a bunch of counters, dropping her to like 30, that she finally uh, used up one of her charges. But once Colleen is down, it makes this fight is really straightforward. You'll notice I did lose Moondragon, but for the most part, as long as Phylavel stays alive for the death proof and the sustainability from her, it's not that big. It's not that difficult. And I think at this point we can fast forward to the end. If we want to, in retrospect, this was a team that's pretty heavy on Luke, Cage, Iron Fist, and Shang-Chi. So Colleen Wing and Misty Knight. Colleen's damage was not as much of a threat here as it will be in our next sample. But yeah, I think this is a fairly impressive video just because of the fact that if we look here, it's pretty much a punch across. A difference of 40% at this high is something like less than 2%, or I'm doing my math wrong. I did my math wrong. It's a little less than 5%, so it's not actually that big of a difference. All right, so this is a second clip from War. This one actually I took today, just a few hours ago, in our War today on September 14th. And you'll notice here we have a slightly bigger Heroes for Hire than last time. It's power 758, almost 759,000. It's got a bigger Colleen Wing here as well, so this team is definitely going to have more damage than the one in the first clip. And again, of course, the only thing that can take this down is Infinity Watch. So I'm going to open up mine. So they are slightly bigger than they were in the last clip. I think they were 750 something in the last clip with Armory up. In this case, they're a little bigger because I think I finished taking up a few of them to level 82, which they weren't in the previous clip. I think Moondragon and Phylavel probably were not level 82. Gamora, I know I leveled to ISO 3 yesterday, and Moondragon, I think I also leveled to ISO 2 like this morning or something. So that's a couple of slight power upgrades today that weren't there last time. But overall, it's pretty much the exact same team. They're still Gear 15. They're still, the same yellows and reds on these guys. 4-4, 7-5, 6-5, sorry. Did I say 7-5 in the first clip? My Nebula is 6-5, not 7-5. 5-5 on Adam, 7-6 Gamora, and 4-4 Moondragon. So the stars, yellows and reds are still exactly the same. Only thing is like maybe a level or two and maybe 1 or 2 ranks of blue ISO. So if we move on to the start of the fight, it's going to be pretty much exactly the same actually. Obviously, we're going to start with Misty Knight trying to stun Luke Cage defense up, Misty Knight, and then again I use Nebula basic here so that we don't get extra evades for Shang-Chi to get extra damage from. You'll see I'm 100% certain that if I did let that happen, Nebula probably would have died. Because you'll see she's standing on 1 death proof here, and there's any extra damage might have killed her. So I copy the death proof, of course, with Gamora special. I did mention at this part in the last. I mentioned it in the last clip that I was considering switching the targets with Gamora special to maybe clear more deflects. But here you'll notice again I try to ability block Iron Fist. This time it actually lands. I'm very surprised it did. The Disrupt on Luke Cage did as well. So because because Luke Cage is because Iron Fist now can't cleanse and Luke Cage is disrupted, we can actually try and take this small window to just beat on Shang-Chi. Shang is like obviously with the rewind to cleanse everything, and luckily enough here, so this is really interesting that that just happened. I know that I believe the defense up on Shang-Chi came from Iron Fist when he fell below 51%, I think, something like that. But you'll notice that since he was already under 60% with that, Luke Cage did not gain a taunt here. So I actually managed to just burn through all of Shang-Chi's charges right here, which is really nice, assuming I can clear the taunt off Luke Cage and then switch back, focus back onto Shang, which is actually not that difficult with Nebula clearing taunts with Skirmisher. Although I should also mention that I did mention last time I want to consider switching Nebula with the positioning so that uh, she doesn't get ability block for turn two. Anyhow, the stun lands again, luckily, and I think do I just end up killing Luke Cage here? Um, so he's still taunting, but I get the evades from Nebula, and then just like last time, we end up having to kill Luke Cage first. But this time, Shang-Chi's also out of charges, so Shang-Chi gets less damage resistance, and I think charges also give him extra damage and resistance. Um, um, so now that Luke Cage goes down, we can actually focus Shang-Chi, and he's out of charges, which makes this part easier. File is holding on by string pretty much the entire fight, but see here, Shang-Chi's out of charges, so we hopefully can kill him really quickly. Last time it was almost last time it was like 220 or something by the time Shang was gone, and we beat that by 20 seconds here just because I was able to clear the charges that fast at the start. Um, and now I killed the healer first, which was probably a mistake. Might have been smarter to go after Colleen like I did in the first clip. Um, Something that might not happen if I went after Colleen instead. But overall, like it's this is a pretty all right. I think I can fast forward now that everyone's dead. Again, so Iron Fist goes down. Copy Deft Proof, and the, so yeah. Once again, I think there is probably some strategic improvement to be made with when to use Nebula's ult for evades. But one really nice thing I can say about this fight is that uh, no one ever died, which is a pretty big accomplishment for a team like Heroes for Hire with that much damage for you watch to be able to for them all to stay alive. Although obviously, clearly some of them more easily than others. Nebula with constant assists draining her more health, but Phyla-Vell obviously struggling. But yeah, I this fight actually I surprisingly had almost no trouble with the clock at all, with after Misty bleeds out with 57 seconds left. So so, so if we review, this team is fairly big. I believe Colleen was 6 yellows and 6 reds, so pretty big. 164 power because they had Medbay and Barracks still standing. And if we look at my power, if we look at the comparison in my power, it's only a 14,000 power difference, which 14,000 in that much is like 2.5%, I think. So it's for basically by all means just a punch across. So I think this is a very nice video to showcase that Infinity Watch do still soft counter Heroes for Hire and to give a rough idea of the way I like to do it. So I hope you found that those war clips and that incoherent rambling commentary to be informative or entertaining in any way, and if so, please let me know with a like or in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.